Hi everyone, welcome back to Agape Gardens. I am doing a little bit of work in the greenhouse today, and I thought maybe I would bring you along and show you a little bit about potting up your tomato plants. When you start your tomato seedlings, you'll have something like this. This is when it first has sprouted. I actually didn't think these were going to germinate, separated them, and then they did germinate. So that's why we have this tiny sprout here. Then they'll get what they call their true leaves. And so you see these leaves here that look like tomato leaves instead of just the seedling leaves. And so you should really pot them up once you have your first set of true leaves. It doesn't always work out that way. As you can see, I have one here where 3 seeds germinated and they definitely have their true leaves. A couple sets of them. They've got a little bit of sun scald and a little bit of purpling behind the leaves. And so some varieties are high in what's called anthocyanins, which can give a purple hue to the foliage and the fruit. But a lot of times when you're looking at seedlings like this, where the stem is turning purple and things like that, it's going to be an issue of nutrients. And I haven't successfully dealt with that before. I've always just transplanted them out and they recover. Tomatoes are very forgiving that way. I'm trying something with bone meal right now with these larger plants to see if I can help get them a little bit healthier before they're transplanting out. So let's get started transplanting our tomatoes. These guys that are much larger, I'm actually going to be transferring into 1-gallon pots, which a lot of folks don't like to pot up to this size, which is completely understandable because then you have to dig a hole this size or larger to plant your tomato seedlings. So you could just take this seedling out and pot it up again to the same size pot, just plant it a little deeper, because tomatoes actually, all of these little hairs along the stem, however deep you plant it, the stem will throw out roots, and so you'll have a much more sturdy plant and with a good root base to begin when you plant it out in your garden. So I'm just choosing, I got these 1-gallon pots and I'm just choosing to plant these in those large pots for this time. These plants that I pot up, they'll be going into pots these size. So let's get started. Okay, so what we've done is we've just taken a little bit of soil, put it in there, and we're going to fill it up once we have our plants in there. So when you have multiple tomato plants in one, you can just, what I typically do is just put my fingers around the base of the plant, flip it over, give a couple squeezes, and the roots will come out. And then what you can do is just gently kind of break apart this root ball and tease out the roots. Now, not all plants are going to be is okay with you messing with their roots. Things like squash, any kind of melon, anything like that is not going to do as well with having their roots disturbed, especially this much. So these transplants got a little bit far, a little bit away from me, and so that's why they're having to be messed with so much. So, and they come apart just like that. And so then there's our first one that we're gonna transplant. We're gonna get these other 2 separated. All right. So you can just set these to the side. And we'll set them there. And then we have our pot here. And so you can see how far deep I'm putting that into the pot. And then I'm just going to fill it up with soil. Okay, and then we have our potted up Paul Robeson. We put our tag. We're going to put a little bit of this water that has been mixed with bone meal. and then we're going to set it in our tray to be bottom watered. So here we have our tomato plant that just has its true leaves. We're going to take out our tag. We're going to take this pot, just get a tiny bit, just barely at the bottom of that. You just want to put a small layer of soil, just barely covering the bottom. And then you're going to, like I said, take your fingers, put them at the base of the plant, flip it over, squeeze, squeeze, out it comes. And then you can put your tomato seedling in there and fill it up as high as you can with soil. Because remember, those roots are going to come out of that stem, helping to make your plant stronger. Kind of press it down, get a little bit more soil. And then there it is. Get it some water. A question you may have when you are planting these older seedlings are about these branches hanging off the side. Now, you can take those off and just leave what's called the crown, this top little bunch of branches. You don't ever want to pull off this crown because that will be essentially topping your tomato plant. If you have an indeterminate variety of tomato plant, it will throw up a sucker from the stem that will take over as the leader. But you want to avoid taking the top off of that. But you can take these side branches off and plant them as well. And like I said, roots will still come out of there, out of the side of those stems. Okay? I hope you've enjoyed learning about potting up your tomato plants. Remember that growing from seed has a huge advantage in terms of the varieties you can grow, the number that you can afford. One tomato plant in this size cup at Home Depot or any other big box store is about $4, when you can pay $4 for a package of seeds ranging from, depending where you purchase them, and the price, 10 seeds to 25 seeds or possibly more tomato seeds. So huge financial advantage. And if you have pots that you can use those, or you can use red Solo cups. You can use, I have some old mushroom containers that you can just drill holes in the bottom and start a bunch of seedlings in there to pot up into your Solo cups later. It can really be an affordable venture, but you do have to have space, light, and time for starting your own seeds. So I also wanted to say I prefer the square pots to the Solo cups, or to like these round pots. These I found in a local nursery. I think it was like 20 cents or less than 20 cents per pot, and so I stocked up on a bunch of those my first year doing this. And the advantage is that the square pots fit nicely into a tray. You can fit more plants with a little bit more stability than you can with the round ones. They don't quite fit in the tray as well. So consider that when you're thinking about it. I don't want to discourage anyone from starting or anyone from trying, but as you get going, you might want to invest in some square pots and some strong bottom water trays. So I highly encourage you to start your own seeds, pot up your plants, and have a great time gardening. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.